Hi everybody, Cam Sweet here from the Garage Connection Central Digger Supply, continuing on our little video series just talking about different machines. And the one we're going to talk about in this video specifically is this Rippa mini skid behind me, the RS03. So this machine is marketed as the kind of like the gasoline entry-level mini skid in Rippa's lineup. So this one does not have things like the V-twin engine, it doesn't have triple pumps, it doesn't have any of the other features that some of the larger machines have. So in keeping with that thing, what I wanted to do is I wanted to take a critical look at this and see what makes it tick, and then I wanted to stack it up against something comparable like the 480 Huai machine, because I figured, you know, tracks versus tracks, right? They're both reasonably same size buckets, but we couldn't do that because this machine is a V-twin 3-pump. This is a single cylinder, so that wouldn't be fair to do that. So what I had to do is I had to put it up against the 360. Now I know that obviously this machine has tires, this one has tracks, so there's going to be no, we're not going to have an opinion one way or the other on which one is built better as they're sitting here in front of me. My preference on little machines has always been tires. I mean, I've said that through many, many videos because the tracks are a pain in the ass, is what it is. And everybody's like, well, the tires get stuck. I've never been stuck with tires. Have been stuck with tracks though. Well, you know, the tracks are more reliable. I've had tracks fall off. Tire hasn't fallen off. I don't know. Anyways, it's about the blue machine. Let's talk about the blue machine. This is a reasonably sized machine. It does come with a pretty decent quality bucket on it. It does come with a set of hydraulic auxiliary attachments, which is nice. Now, unfortunately, there is no third attachment, so there is no case drain hookup on this. So if you're trying to run an attachment that has a case drain, you're not going to be able to do it unless you want to run another line back to your tank. The track drive components are all very typical for what you would expect from an imported Chinese mini anything. And one notable thing about this, it does have a manual track tensioner versus the hydraulic one. I kind of always like the manual ones anyway, so that's maybe a plus or maybe a minus depending on how you feel about that. But the big thing that I wanted to point out is this unit only has 2 pivot wheels on the bottom. There's some other units out there that have 3 pivot wheels on the bottom. My personal opinion is 3 wheels is better. I had a couple of off-brand mini skids. It was like a IR10 or something like that, and or IRL 10 or something. Anyways, the tracks would pop off all the time. I mean, within like 6 feet, you'd throw a track, and it only had 2 idling wheels on the bottom. I had other units that had 3 wheels. The tracks never fell off, so maybe there's a reason for that. I don't know if it's, you know, I'm not saying that these are going to fall off, but 3 wheels is nice. This only has 2. Is that a huge deal? Maybe, maybe not. And the other thing is the rear wheel. So the rear wheel on 90% of these machines is that singular rib one where it rides in between the teeth. This one's not like that actually. So this rear wheel has the 2 on the outside, nothing in the middle. So that's a little bit different. And I think that in the long term, that's actually going to prove to be a positive thing, because the rear wheel being like the pivot wheels, I think is more going to securely grab the tracks as opposed to that singular rib. Now on the flip side though, if you're going to get debris in your tracks, when you turn, usually it's sitting on the outside of the teeth. That's right where the wheel is, so maybe it will lead to more thrown tracks. But, you know, at any rate, that's what we got. That's what we're working with, so that's what we're going to talk about. The fit and finish on the machine is pretty good. It's kind of in line with what you would expect from a Rippa product. I mean, this is brand new. It's been sitting inside. There's some rust running, and there's some bubbling underneath the powder coat over here, actually, that you can kind of see the primer through it. So it's not worse than any other Rippa product I've seen. But it's certainly, if you're looking for really a perfect fit and finish, this unit is not that type of machine for you. So, all right, let's talk about the engine compartment and the control layout. So over here we have the Briggs 13.5 XR engine, which that's a big plus that it's not the Ratto one, depending on how you feel about that. And you know, the way this is mounted is pretty typical for these mini skids where the pump kind of sits out the front. So we got some cable work here going to the control layout. I don't know if that's going to prove to be an issue. That's kind of a little bit messy and, you know, I don't know if that's going to end up being an issue. Control layout, pretty typical. Throttle, key, choke, little hour meter that nobody pays attention to anyways. And then we have our control arrangement here and a singular light down the middle. Anyways, the other thing that's kind of weird with this machine, and I'm going to use this one to compare. The operator station, right? If you look, you really it's kind of flat, and when you stand on it, you're not interacting with very much. So this is a nice, you know, bouncy step pad here, but I'm able to use this without too much dramas. Where this one, not only there's no give to this, but when you're operating it, you're kind of like in the engine. Your feet are like under the engine. So if that's maybe a deal breaker for you or something like that, but that's how this unit is arranged. What we're going to do now, we're going to take a look at some of the drivetrain components. Now, unfortunately, the way that this machine is laid out, there's no hood. So if you look at the arm, right, we got vertical cylinders here that run down the bottom on each side. Now that is more in line with these style machines where they have, again, that vertical cylinder that attaches and runs down there that lifts the arms. This one's got a hood though. This one doesn't. So if I can get in here, so there is your hydraulic pump down over yonder. All right, 2-pump, no dramas there. And we do have an excavator style hydraulic oil cooler there with a fan. All right, and the hydraulic tank, everything's underneath there nice and tidy. So that is a little bit different of a layout, and again, it's more in line with historically with some of the wheeled machines than it is with the gasoline track skids. So we'll fire it up and just do some movements with it so you can see kind of how it behaves. It drives pretty much like all these. A little bit nicer of a control layout. And I mean, it's around as probably about a 6 foot lift. Well, we'll take a look at the lifting arms from the underside too, so you can see just a little bit about the construction of it. I don't know what that hose goes to either. Got a little sight glass there. So fairly typical layout. There's some gusseting in here, which is nice. And this is all one piece. Some of these, the cheap, crappy auction ones, this is a C channel, and you rip off this mounting tab here. So, you know, it's pretty much in line with what you would expect. I like giving the machines credit for what they are at their price point, and for what this is at its price point, it's probably not a horrible purchase. Got a battery cutoff switch and a little you work on the machine. You pull this thing off and you put it in here so the arms don't fall on you. So looking at this machine, you gotta see a couple different layers of this. The first one being that this machine is, it might look like a unique machine, but this is basically a Mach Pro but blue with Rippa stickers on it. So if you find one of these things at an auction and it says Mach Pro, you're basically getting this. With that being said, if you went to a dealer to buy this machine, it's probably going to cost you somewhere between, the high side of 4, the low side of 5. Oh, there we go. Yeah, no, it's okay. No. That's good. It's real. This is real YouTube stuff here. So, if you go to a dealer and you buy this thing, depending on the deal they're willing to give you, you're going to be paying, the high side of 4, the low side of 5 for one of these things. At an auction, you get them for $3,500, whatever. At that price, is it a buy? Depending on what you're looking to do with it, yeah. I mean, it's got the Briggs. It's reasonably well put together. You've got a brand behind it that's been around and people recognize. And it's not necessarily fair to compare this to like a dealer-only machine with the warranties and all that stuff, because that machine is a couple $1,000 more than this machine. So if you're going to be happy with what I would consider to be an entry-level gasoline mini skid, and you want to stay away from the pop-up brands that are out there, then you probably can't go wrong with purchasing something like this. But if you're in a position where you want to buy something with some after-sales support and access to like dealers and warranties and all that stuff, I don't think that this machine is going to be the choice for you. Not because of anything against the machine, but just because of the atmosphere surrounding the machine. So I hope that helps you out in any decision making that you're trying to make. If I was just starting out and I saw this, I'd be excited. After seeing other machines out there and the different whatever machines that are a little bit more robust or got different features, I personally wouldn't buy one. But if you're looking for something to start out with, you want to just get 16-year-old son or something to start doing something instead of playing video games, this is probably a pretty good choice for you. So hope that helps you out. Cam Sweet from the Garage Connection. Thank you very much.